Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Um, and I really do mean that. I say that every time, but being well is really important. Just um, making up out, successfully making it out of bed in the morning is you've already won. Today, what I'm gonna try to do is this beautiful little Lockwood Fire Brigade padlock. It is zinc. I looked it up, and these are all key to like with the 003 key, so that the Fire Brigade doesn't have to carry out a bunch of different keys for a bunch of different locks for things that they need to get into all over the city. So you can have a bunch of different locks key to like. Um, this one's a 5-pinner. If you look at if you just do a quick glance at the bitting, you'll think it's only a 4-pinner. You look at it like this and you go, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're missing the 0 cut way up here. Let me see if I can focus in on this guy. That 0 cut is really hard to see, and then when you first start picking, or if you are new to locks and everything, we judge the number of pins on a key by the cuts, and they don't usually use a 0 cut very often, and that means that pin has to be lifted up really high, and you can see it right there. It's just a little slight mark. Also, if you get to mess around with making your own keys and stuff, having these 0 cuts is really important because it shows you the spacing. I just usually, if I can find a similar key to what I'm trying to mess around with, I'll copy the spacing on it with another blank. I'll set it over and say, all right, this is where that one should be. I'll lay a pick across it and mark it with a marker, something like that. Or you can stick it in the chamber. But anyways, let's get on to picking this thing. It's a 5-pinner, like I said. And when I first picked it up, of course I've picked it before. I can't resist, when I get a lock in, I just got to pick it. I haven't picked everything out of the package you sent me yet, but this was sent to me by Paul, and it finally made it here. It would have gotten here like on the 21st, which is like about almost a week ago. Yeah, it is a week ago. But my post office decided to screw around and not deliver it properly. So yeah, it's a wafer lock. They go pretty fast once you know what you're doing on them and stuff. This one has fairly high tolerances. And the other one that he sent me like this, that's put together, I've never put together I've taken apart a wafer lock, but not completely, like the little springs and pull them all apart. I'll watch Potty 314 or somebody, that does that rather than do it myself. This is the green Abus also, 7240. It's got a pretty good bitting on it. I picked this one also when I first got it. I was like, all right, another Abus, because I love Abus locks. Again, Potty sent me that my first Abus that I ran into. It's around here somewhere. It's hiding now. I can't believe that. Anyway, let's get on to picking this Abus. But he's the one that got me interested in Abus locks. They're really nice. And I've had one all along and didn't know it. I had a U-Haul padlock that I had when I moved up from New Mexico to Texas, moved back to Texas again. This is the wrong picture, this one, by the way. I need my smaller little diamond shape. I organize myself with my picks. I put them in a thing like this and kind of organize myself to kind of keep them from being scattered all over the place. But you can see how well I stick to that. Alright, let's get in here. Now, most Abuses that I've noticed, or at least all Abus 7240s, have a standard pin in pin 1, and the rest are, you know, either spools or something like that. But the standard one is usually, if you try to get your set on pin 1 sometimes, like you just push up on it until you feel it click. Now this one, that's pretty far up for me to do that one. But if you look at the bitting on the key, that's how high you gotta push it up. Normally you would get like a slight false set if you did that. Now I'm gonna let that one drop because, click, because that one wasn't binding when I first pushed in. So I could pick it, but it'd be like out of sequence. So I'm gonna go all the way back. I got a crunch, which is not a good thing, and a pin drop back down. I haven't got my false set yet. I don't know if you can see this. I'll make sure I stay in frame. I normally put it in the vise and everything, but I've been picking it out of hand, so I might as well do it right now in hand. But I'd like to also mention that about our community, how great it is, because like I said in one of my last videos, I fell out of bed recently, and I messed myself up a little bit. I'll heal. I didn't break anything, which is lucky, but I did bruise myself pretty good, and I feel it. But what I really like about this community is, you know, all the well wishers and stuff. People are saying, you know, be careful and watch out, and glad you're all right and stuff like that. And you know, those are not just like platitudes. You know, these people in our community here, lock pickers, really wish well for each other. You know, like if you get a bunch of new locks in, we're not like, oh, I wish I could have some of those or anything. They're like, well, at least my response is, I'm happy for you. You know, good. You know, I like to see people being happy. You know, whatever you do, make you happy. This guy's fighting me. I may have to save the. I had some pins set too. I may have to save the gutting for later. I don't want to make this video too long for you. But yeah, I haven't been feeling well, and when I'm not feeling well, the cats are not feeling well, so they haven't been doing as many videos. And just trying to get that. I got a counter rotation there, and here a pin, and it's like 4 is really. I set him, but I going bottom of the keyway like this is kind of tricky because you can overset. You're already fairly close to the pins. There we go. I got a false set. I felt the core move there. You already your pins are already moved up. I got a little bit more movement on the core there when I came in. And this is just like that little hybrid or the Forest Diamond. It's just it's like a short hook, but it's curved enough. I'm sitting on this guy. He don't feel right. I don't think I got that one set. There's one about like pin 3 that's giving me some counter rotation, but yeah, I practiced yesterday, but I wasn't practicing for this video. I was just playing around, and I could get this guy fast sometimes. Oh, there we go. It's pin 1. And other times it takes forever. Alright, for those of you who wish to stick around and watch this, I'm going to take it apart, see what's in there. I predict, I don't know. Pin 1 was like giving me counter rotation. Maybe it's pin 2 and it just felt like pin 1. It could be that, because pin 2 is right next to it. And there's a deep set one here. I felt those guys when I was going through. Like, this one would be down here and feel set. And I wouldn't get any counter rotation out of him. But I have to get past him to get to this higher set one. And if you make it past that, you gotta get all the way down here. And I think that's why they make the last cut on a key high a lot of times, is because you're negotiating down this narrow little track, trying to get your pick past these guys without oversetting them. So if you're pushing through and this warding is effective enough that you're not using it, or you're using bottom of the keyway tension, then you're right up here. You're right up on that track, and you don't have much room to maneuver. Sometimes you have to use a sharper angled hook if this is the last one to get without oversetting the other ones, or a bent pick like mine is. It's got a little sway back in there because I put too much force in. All right, stop your yammering and sorry. Also, I'd like to say that anybody that's new to lock picking, that, you know, if you don't have a lot of locks and stuff and everything, just mention it in your video, you know, that you picked all the locks that you can find and you can't pick anymore. I just put this back in and I pulled it right back out. All right, and part of my organizing, I left my most important screwdriver set somewhere. So I'm going to leave this running so you'll know no shenanigans are up with this. I left it in the other room. And now I'm going to see what I needed right there. But I went and got this. I'll put back in here where it should be. Right. So yeah, Lockwoods are really cool. I love Lockwoods. And Avis are two of my favorite kind of locks. But I'm not biased, you know. I mean, I like all kinds of locks. Even the cheap Chinese ones can teach you something. You know, how not to make a lock, or how sometimes they get it right and they improve it. Here's this little cylinder right here on the back of the little tailpiece. I'm going to leave him in there because I don't need that for this. Push him back in there. In you go. Sit down there. Uh-oh. You can move around, can't you? There. There's a little cutout down there for that to fall into. So, oh, I need a penny tray. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I said, I've been kind of out of it. I can edit it later, or I can just leave it like this. It's going to be a long video anyway, no matter what happens, so it's the way things goes. Alright, we're going to need a follower once we get the... Oh yeah, I can use my gut wrench. If I just knew where I put it. It was around here somewhere. Man, I am not organized at all. I want to use it. Alright, I'm going to pause the video. But you see, I got it tearing apart. I'm not messing with it any. I tore the place apart. Well, basically the bench, the top part of it, looking around for it. And finally, I had it sitting up and down like this, up against here. So it's just a thin piece you'd have to look at and realize that that was a tool. Yeah. So, yeah. That's how that goes. Alright, we got a key for this. But I'm going to try to take it off without locking it up. I just want to see the guy that matches this. Yeah, I better lock it up. Because the cylinder just moves around on you. Yeah, I better have them keys handy. There they are. So like, man, I ain't gonna take forever to pick this again, are you? It's already a forever video. Struggle, push. Now I'm using this little hook, and I haven't used this new tool that much. I thought there was a cutout. Well, this is the right one. Just gotta get your technique down, Pat. Yeah, it's the right diameter. I'm just... There we go. Wasn't pushing hard enough. Alright. Come out of there, come out of there. There! Boy, bloody hell. Now, I want to go this way just a little bit. Put a shim in here. I started storing shims in with this case or just leaving them on the trays. That way I don't have to... Where's the shim? Where is it? Where is it? I need one. Because it really... The time when you say, oh well, I don't need a shim, you wind up getting it stuck halfway in, halfway out. Pins dropping everywhere. And if it's a challenge lock, it's really important to figure out where the pin sequence was, you know, because that's just part of it. Alright, so you don't want to goof that up. Alright, we need a tiny follower. I don't know if this is tiny enough. Ooh, this is a cutout one. Right, it's a perfect size. Come through there. See, there's that little gap that you get hung up on. Alright, let's pull this out and see how it looks. Doo-doo-doo. Let me get it in frame here. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Alright, yeah, you can see the high cuts. I'll get zooming. I'll do a little zoomage. Yeah, see those high ones back there? These ones are usually pretty hard to get unless they're the first ones to set, because that guy don't have to be moved very much to overset him, and neither does that one. And those got to be pushed up pretty high, and that one and that one. So yeah, that's just what makes it kind of difficult. Is the bitting can make it difficult, and the warding. They both play a part in how a bitting like this in like a Master Lock M1 keyway or something would. But I think this is a Yale style keyway. Right, enough of your yammering, get to work. I'm retired now. I work at my own speed and at my own pace. And if you don't like it, well, old people have a way of telling you what they think and not really filtering things anymore. Not concerned about getting fired or people not liking them or any of that stuff. I'll try not to be that way. They're all standard pins. I'm going to flip them over later. And nothing done to the Bible. I mean the core. Alright. What's good about this is it shows you which way is front and back. Because I'm always like, ooh, which one's front? Which one's back? Alright, let me get the shim out of here. Some twazzers. Where's our twazzers? Alright. Man, that shim made it. It's tight in here. I'm having a hard time getting that. I don't want to cut myself. I do that enough with knives. Man, it's wedged. It's really... That shim is really wedged in there. I'm just going to push him out this way. It's a struggle. Life is a struggle. Alright, we're coming up to pin 1. Let me zoom in some here so you can see what's going on. Alright. I don't want to zoom in too much because then I'll move it out of frame and you'll be looking at the floor or something. It's quite possible. I'd say this is going to be a standard if this is pin 1. Yes, it is. I'll predict a standard driver, but I could be wrong. And frequently am. Yep, standard. Bingo, you got it right. Good old Abus. Consistency. Get that little spring out. If the spring's going to come out fine, they probably will, because a new lock. Turn this around. But yeah, I just noticed that like Mania's got a lot of the, he puts up new pickers, and new channels, and there's new pickers, and then there's new channels that he found. A spool. Now these are Avis spools. These are not the American spools that are serrated spools. And the same old steel spring. Now, I predict the rest of them are going to be spooled, but they could have put a standard interspaced in there if they changed up their pinning tactic or whatever. But it would just probably make it harder to manufacture the spool if you got a machine set up to just do, I don't know how they, I'm sure a machine does it and not people. Alright, I said I was going to keep it in frame, and I'm going off frame. Ooh, did you see that spool? He tried to jump away. So they've got good springs in here. And the last one is a spool, yeah. Right, so we got pull all the springs out. Got to be consistent here. Tidy as much as I can in the presentation. There. That should be sufficient. I'll just zoom this guy over here. You've probably all seen an Avis 7240, but those of you that haven't, the spools are different. They're nice and deep. They're different from the American ones that I'm used to, but nice and deep, but no serrations on them. Standard pins. Pretty good lock. Thank you so much, Paul, for these nice little locks here. They're somehow not focused. There we go. The Lockwoods and the Avis. Thank you for watching, and happy picking, everyone.